man. That was important to me. I'm starting to realize that these recruits, man, are really smart. What's up, LL Nation? Let's get it done. Sorry, I was just telling Malik. We're brought to you and featuring Anora Whiskey, AnoraWhiskey.com, that premium American whiskey, AnoraWhiskey.com. I was just telling Malik, we were literally getting ready to start the show, and I had a big-time recruit that was in this weekend call me. And I had to pause because I was like, yo, I've been waiting for this call. Need to chop it up with him, figure out what happened this weekend. And we'll be talking about that, giving you some tidbits a little bit later in the show. But welcome. We want to talk about expectations today, right? Expectations. Yes. Great topic. Malik and I discussed it earlier today. We'll get to it shortly. We're also going to cover and recap what Marcus Freeman said to the media this weekend. Some very interesting points. Some craziness, of course, always happens over the weekend. Shout out to you, bro. Shout out to you, man. You know what I'm saying? It's a great week. The playoffs are about to start in the NBA. Best time of the year. LeBron's on vacation. My boys are in the offs. It's going to be a short stint. We face Giannis in the Bucks. But that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, you guys will be down in a short while. I'm thinking of a 4-game sweep.
Gentleman's sweep. Come on now. Don't disrespect us. Gentleman's sweep. We're going to snag one at the crib.
Giannis is really unreal, though. Like, let's talk about that. That Joker is crazy.
And what he had to say this weekend, you're right, bro. He is, if you were going to build the perfect athlete, he would be it, you know, because even though LeBron has a pristine image,
he's not as long as Giannis.
Yeah, he's just not. And the dude,
and he's thicker than Kevin Durant.
Remember 3 years ago when they said that the league had figured Giannis out? You remember that? And he was like, nah.
I mean, he's doing stuff like just running to the basket and dunking on people.
Yo, he's doing like step backs, bro. Like he's hitting cats with like crossovers, step back.
And it's all ugly. All of it's ugly. Like all of it looks European.
But if it goes in, I'm like, yo, if he's hitting this, it's a problem.
Yeah.
It's a problem. And the Bulls have no one to defend him. No one. I mean, not many teams have anybody that can defend them, but the Bulls have absolute what? Tristan Thompson? I mean, Nikola Vucevic? No one.
Just I don't know who's going to guard him.
No one. No one. No one.
Because he's playing point guard. He's playing point guard.
No one. It's crazy. I want to start off the show by saying congratulations to my baby girl, who is now officially a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Shout out to you. My baby girl out there at USC doing your thing. And to our longtime listener and supporter, D. Beasy, you now have a soror. So, yep. She persevered, my brother. It couldn't be me. Couldn't be me. I always had a problem, you know, standing next to a dude on campus, and I could do the same thing that he could do socially. The only difference was he took a paddle for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, he can shoulder roll a little bit better.
And that's no disrespect to the organizations. I'm not throwing shade to the organization. I'm just talking about personally when I made the decision because I considered it.
Yeah, it crosses your mind.
Hey,
you know,
I considered it, but I'm like,
the dancing and the moves was kind of cool.
You know, the truth of the matter is, man, it's something about when that George Clinton comes on, dog. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's something about that George Clinton coming on at a college party, bro. It hits different. I have to show a lot of respect. And for those of you that know, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Being in a college party and you hear that George Clinton hit, and it's like, it's like, okay, you already know what's coming. You already know what's coming.
It just gets it going.
Yeah, that atomic dog gets it jumping. it gets it jumping, dude. So shout out to her and condolences, man, to the family of yo, man. That was tough to hear, bro. That was tough to hear, and then to see Chase Claypool's IG video, really, because if I'm not mistaken, Chase was in Miami with him training. If I'm not mistaken,
his like Instagram story was still up
yeah,
from
and
that day. Like he was just there, type of deal.
yeah. So to the entire Haskins family, our prayers, our condolences, and God's strength and peace. May it find you in the coming days. Just the outpouring of love. And this is what I'm talking about. The point I want to touch on with this before we get to Marcus Freeman and expectations is that sometimes when you're in the media, and I don't know how difficult it is for some people. I know the reason I got into media was to be able to be not only a voice and a vessel of information to fans, but also to be a place of safety and relatability in a sense for athletes, specifically athletes that had a similar background to myself. Because I felt like that was missing. That was just my opinion. And I watched this young man from the time he decided to leave Ohio State be vilified, dissected, broken down, decisions he made be talked about, not going to the NFL draft, deciding to celebrate with his own family, how he decided to celebrate, the two idiots that said what they said this weekend. I won't even say their names because that's what they were in the moment. I don't know them that well, so I can't speak for the entirety of their life. But the two idiots that spoke this weekend just further highlight how insensitive some people in the media can be because they don't know how to take their media hat off when they're talking about athletes as human beings. And that's where the relatability comes in. Like being able to understand that I don't care what you think about him. I don't care what you think about Ohio State quarterbacks and what they have or have not done in the NFL. Anytime you hear someone has passed and it's untimely and tragic, that is the only thing that matters. That is it. Nothing else matters. Nothing else. And as a human being, your heart should immediately go out to them and their family for the loss. Period.
Yeah, I mean, it was tough.
I had plenty of time to dislike the Buckeyes in September.
Yeah, I mean, we got plenty of time.
Plenty of time. But as a human being, my heart went out to those coaches that coached him that are still there, the coaches that recruited him, the guys that played with him. It's like all of that, man. All of that matters. And I just hope and wish that at some point, people that cover athletes will become a lot better at learning how and when it's the right time to take off the hat as the media personality, as the writer, as the producer, or whatever you do, and become a human being. And it's not hard. It's a decision that you make. Like when you sit there and tweet something, when you hop on a radio station and say something, you are making a choice to discuss that particular matter in the way you want to discuss it. You're making that choice. So you can't sit here and tell me, oh, it was a mistake. No. You had ample time. You know how many times I type something on Instagram or Twitter and delete it and say that's gonna come across crazy.
You put it, you go the whole way.
Yeah. It's like, wait a minute, dude. I call BS. I call cap, big cap on that deleting of tweets and stuff. No. You had ample time to think about and look at what you typed up and to ask yourself as a human being, yo, is this going to hit right? This might sound a little crazy. Like, let me change this a little bit. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So if you're going to do it, don't delete it. Don't delete it under the pressure. And I understand your bosses, Mickey Mouse, called you, said, hey, yo, you might want to pull that down.
Yeah. As soon as they lose $1, they call us around.
It's soon. You know? I'm not here to call for somebody's job. That's not why I'm here. I just want all of us to be better human beings. That's it. Just be better human beings, man.
That's right.
That's it. So, we had a discussion, bro, earlier today. Parity, does it exist? And I have to give a little credit to watching a conversation that Colin Cowherd had on his show. But I want to put a different spin on it. And basically what he was saying and getting at is that parity is a word that is put out there to pacify the fans because it really doesn't exist. And I started to think about what he said. And he said, look, go to any sport, college or pros. The NFL, we just got done with a dynasty called the New England Patriots. 7 Super Bowls. Dominated over a span of 20 years. How much parity was it really in the NFL? NBA, going all the way back to Magic and Bird. You had the Rockets get to a finals. Yeah, you had the Pistons get a couple of championships.
Here, there, splash.
But it was pretty much Lakers Celtics.
That's the one anybody cared about, at least.
Yeah. Then here comes MJ. MJ, 6 of them things. In between that, he leaves for a couple of years. Elijah Wan took advantage. Got his 2. And then you kind of have a dead period where, the Spurs come on. And even though the Spurs
come on.
They come on, but they can never go back to back. They can never solidify themselves as a true dynasty because they were never able to win back-to-back championships, but they had crazy longevity, right?
Yeah, just consistent wins.
Yes, and in the middle of their consistency, here comes the next great one, and his name is LeBron James. And even though he wasn't able to win until year 8, 9.
Yeah, I mean, now it's looking like it was a lot quicker than it really was. Just because he was 19.
But the dominance was there. You can see it. The dominance was there. He wins with the Heat. The Mavericks, they sneak in there and get one. He goes back to Cleveland. Golden State comes in, and they become the dominant team, right? Then they get KD, and they become even more dominant. So the question is, where is their parity? We use the word, but is there parity? College football is the same way. Like, I don't care what you want to say. Alabama has dominated the last decade in college football. They have. You've had a couple of splashes here in there from Clemson. LSU snuck in and got them one. Georgia snuck in last year and got one. But who was always there the majority of the time? Alabama.
That's right.
So parity. Is it a facade? Does it really exist? And it led me to believe or to ask a question. What are we really expecting from Notre Dame under Marcus Freeman? Are we expecting a couple of splashes over the next 10 years? Or are we expecting Notre Dame to be that program that replaces Alabama and becomes dominant? That's what I want to ask LL Nation. What are you expecting? Because what's the expectations for Marcus Freeman in Notre Dame, right?
Yeah.
His starting point is totally different than his predecessors.
Notre Dame is no longer a place where you can come and not get a championship because you're not going to be there longer than – definitely not going to be there 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So this is definitely a chance where Marcus Freeman has to start unusually hotter than what any other coach would want, just because the fan base is expecting it. The higher ups are thinking this is not a reach, but this is a special interest. This is a once in a lifetime type of deal. A lot of factors are playing into this. And on top of that, you're probably facing the hardest schedule in the last 2 or 3 years at least, right? I would say.
Yeah.
So this is gearing up to be something where you either headed in one or two directions. I don't think there's a middle of the road for Marcus Freeman. And I think it's important that, because of that, he understands that, and what he's been doing coming in is definitely ignited not only the fan base, but everybody around in the program, that at least they have a chance of starting where it should be.
That's a good point. If there was a chance to be around and just be good without taking the next step, that was ruined by Brian Kelly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If it was he definitely ruined all right, we're going to go from the ground up. Like, we almost have to use everything of resource available.
Mm-hmm.
Similar to an Alabama. Alabama's just really good at it. Alabama's good enough to lose in the biggest game of the year and then take the winning team's best players the next year. Like, we want to be able to get to that level. So for us, the transfer portal, I thought we won it this season. This offseason, I thought we won signing, Brandon Joseph and getting the guy from Harvard and just buffering some of the positions that we know we needed to replace.
Yeah.
And then just being just a program, how do you say it? A program fire starter. Being there in the team, amongst the team before, and almost coming in as the head coach like he's fresh. Like, it was like he was almost never there. Like, it was like he elevated into came out of his cocoon into the head coach he was always supposed to be. Because a lot of these the same players, you can get used to a coach, and it's just like, oh, I mean, he's just filling in the role. I mean, Marcus Freeman coming in feels like he's actually like coming in fresh. Like we got this guy off of steel. Like, this is, he's elevated the minds of everybody in the building. So we feel good about it. And so the expectation should be championships. And he's not running away from it. And I think that's half the battle. A lot of coaches will kind of pacify, we don't want to think too big. But Marcus Freeman, he sees the elephant in the room and he's making aware of it.
That's the one thing I like. He embraces the elephant in the room. Like, he knows the task at hand. Like, he's not fooling, dude. He's not fooled.
Yeah.
He's not, dude. He's not trying to give you the PC answer or, just, lead you on. He knows, like, yo, it's time to win.
Yeah.
And we're not waiting until next year. I'm not telling you give us 2 or 3 years. No, we're trying to win national championship right now. And it's crazy because the coaches say that they're taking the lead of the players. And you have to understand, the players are tired, bro. The players are tired of knocking at the door. They're irritated. They're like, dude, twice. Players on this roster have been to the college football playoff twice.
Yeah, there's people on there with some experience now.
And they're irritated that they haven't taken the next step. So he's really stepping into a situation where it's not really him trying to establish, something for the players in the program to follow. He's jumping into the current. It's already moving.
And he's like, this is where we at. This is where we going.
Absolutely.
He's just changing the course a little bit.
Yeah, and that's what's different for him. And I thought it was a very interesting conversation. I thought we could really talk about it and we'll get to some of your responses because I see a bunch of good ones. You can't just say you want splashes. Like, splashes are cool, right? Let's be honest. Clemson got its splashes. Clemson did something that is not the norm. You don't get 2 generational NFL elite quarterbacks back to back at a college program. Like, that doesn't happen like that. You don't get a Deshaun Watson and a Trevor Lawrence back to back. And they turned that into 2 national championships. That allowed them to close the gap.
They turned that 2 national championships.
So now there will be opportunity let's say over the next 5 years. Can Notre Dame cash in? That's going to be the question. There will be opportunities.
Getting Dante's worth a championship.
Absolutely.
I think that'll be a championship.
And it is very interesting. As soon as Trevor left, you saw the drop off. See, that's how you know it doesn't happen like that. If you think that it just continues, no.
And I think Marcus Freeman understands that formula because that's similar to Ohio State. When Ohio State started their tear, they were always good on defense. The offense usually caught up, but the defense, similar to Alabama, where you fall asleep on the defense, but they always holding down the fort and a very strong part of the team. And then the years that they caught on to those Trevor Lawrences, Troy Smiths, Terrell Pryors, that's when more people started noticing. Mm-hmm. But the defense is what really keeps the house strong, and then the offense is what brings people in. So I think for us, Marcus Freeman knows that he's not going to sell out necessarily on getting a juggernaut offensive unit. He's going to take his time a little bit with that, build pieces, because we do have a lot of offensive capability already. But defensively, I mean, he's bringing in as many dogs as possible, packing the house.
Facts.
Because he knows that you got to have depth if you want to get late into the season. You got to have guys that fly around, that are particularly young. That's a trend these days.
Lucky Lefty Podcast. Shaun Davis, the original Lucky Lefty, Malik Zaire, featuring and brought to you by Nora Whiskey at NoraWhiskey.com. That premium American whiskey at NoraWhiskey.com. And if you drink, make sure you drink responsibly. And you should go get some of it right now, especially if you're a Notre Dame fan. Marcus Freeman drinks it.
Marcus Freeman drinks it.
Yeah, I'm just saying, this is go-to.
And we got the proof. I got to say it every time.
You know what I mean? So, at a place like Notre Dame,
that's funny.
You're expected to win every year, bro. Let's just be real about it.
Notre Dame has gotten down to 1-game, 3-game seasons.
I see a lot of people, in the comments saying, I'll take the splash. Like, we can't be Alabama because they pay players. We can't do this or get to that level because of this. Yet and still, every year you have the expectation as a fan base to win a national championship. Let's be real. That's who Notre Dame is. That's the brand. That is the brand. Win a national championship. The guy that sits in that office at the Goog, he feels that pressure every year.
Yeah.
The predecessor felt that pressure every year. So we're sitting here saying
they just allow him to just lay in it though. They ain't really poke him and nothing. They just allow him to just lay in the pressure. Just soak it all up. Not do nothing under it. Just be laying in it.
So we can sit here and we can talk about what you will be cool with, let's be real. The first Saturday in every September, you're coming into that season with the expectations of winning a national championship. Period.
And I think the relentlessness has just been there where you can feel it more, that the team is more aligned with we're all sick of this. We're not just comfortable having good seasons. And I think, just when you're good for so long and not particularly reaching where you want to be, you start feeling like Buffalo, and Josh Allen just can't get it done. So it's time for us to turn into the Bengals and, maybe just the AFC North in general. There's a bunch of winners over there, man. It's good to see. We'll make the change for sure.
Well, one thing is for sure. The talent base, which will lead to a deeper team, is being elevated. It's being elevated. And I'll say this. I talked to a recruit. They said they were watching practice. I said, who stood out to you when you were watching practice? He said, what stood out to me is how well the twos played.
Because you don't really know who the ones and twos is yet, too.
I said, He said, yeah. I was really impressed with how well the twos played. And I was like, yo, that's saying a lot. That's saying a lot. Like, well coached, talent, depth. And when you see that as a young man that's trying to make a decision, you know and you feel like even though I might not be on the field, I'm going to be ready. I'm going to be able to perform because I'm being coached and prepared to perform when my time comes.
Yeah, them NIL deals is floating around out there now. You like, look, we need to get on that field.
Right. You need to get on the field, and when you get on the field, you need to make an impact.
Yeah, so that chirping gonna come out because you need to, they already seen Kyle take the helmet off. That set the bar pretty high. It's like, okay, that's what they stunting like that. We gotta do a little bit more. So
no doubt.
I like Brandon Joseph coming in there, get to talking a little crazy. He want all that comes, the glitz and glamour with Notre Dame, and he's definitely working towards that.
Yeah, well, shout out to everybody that's tapping in. G_no. We are a winning program, but dropping New Year's or New Year Eve bowl games is not the business. I'm with that.
That's you just messing up a brother vacation time, going to these New Year's 6 bowls for us. We already got the winter finals. We there at school all along. Yeah. And then, we're not getting to the cup. Like, remember when Alabama, a few times they didn't make the playoffs, and how they treated guys was like, man, we don't even want to play. We don't even want to play. It was a Buffalo Wild Wings bowl or something. They ain't want to play.
Right. That's been, Notre Dame has turned down bowls like that previously. You know what I'm saying? Depending upon the decade. Like, nah.
I think we ain't turned down no bowls lately, though.
No, not lately. Not lately. Patrick, what's up, Patrick? Thank you for tapping in. Splashes, multiple splashes. That's what he's looking for. He's looking for splashes like Clemson.
I just don't think Notre Dame will allow Marcus Freeman to have splashes. They need to see him. I think they are expecting him, obviously, to do a little bit above and beyond. But it's got to be we in conversation. We can't just be out of the playoffs consecutive years. I just don't think they give it no option like that.
Well,
consecutive years, maybe 1 year, but not consecutive years.
Well, no, I mean Clemson didn't win in consecutive years.
Clemson was in the playoffs, though.
Now, I do believe Notre Dame can do a 3 to 4 year run of being in the playoffs with a
and that will be my expectation for Marcus Freeman, and we smack ideally 2 of the 3, but 1 of the 3, I think it would be. It says a lot, especially over the previous predecessor.
Heck, if he wins 1, bet.
Bet. I think we can take that.
Oh, absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Because the narrative out there is you can't do it.
Yeah. And
here are all the reasons why. Here are all the excuses. Hey, he gave all the excuses in both of the interviews last week.
Yeah.
So now, with all of those excuses, if the guy that comes after you actually does it, kind of makes you a liar. I'll just be honest. I can't sugarcoat it. You can look back at him and say, you're lying. When you kept telling the fan base for years, this is what's holding up. These are the reasons we're being held back in the program. The fan base is well within its rights to say, you're a liar. You're a liar. That's it. We have one. It's proven you can do it. And you're a liar. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it would mean. Hey, that's what it would mean.
Josh Miller. This is interesting, a little bit off topic. Hey, what do you guys think about wearing Jordans with a suit? Have a nice classic black suit and fresh all black Jordans never worn, and I want to wear them with my suit. Is this okay? I'm for it, especially if you're doing a black tux or suit and you got the bread 11s.
Oh my god!
That leather,
bread 11s.
They hit nice. They hit nice.
You know what also hits nice? Some Yeezys. Get you some Yeezys.
He's a Yeezy fan. I'm the MJ fan.
Yeezys.
I'm the AJ fan. Matter of fact, I made a purchase this weekend, and they're sitting right next to me. They just came, nice and fresh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Those look nice.
Yeah. You know, add to the collection.
Okay. Oh, collection. So you don't wear those.
Man, and it drives my wife crazy. I'm like, man,
You're like, why would I do that? Why would I wear them?
I have Jordans. I wear once and I put them up for years, bro.
Shaun, that's crazy, man.
I put them up for years, bro.
Why would you do that? Now you just wasting space in the house.
That's not true. Because they stay in great condition. And then for me, I'm like Q-Tip. You know how Q-Tip has been known to like love a song one day and wake up the next day and think it's the worst song he's ever done?
Yeah.
I'll wear a shoe once. Time will go on and I'll look in my closet. I'm like, I don't even know why I have this shoe. And I'll sell it.
So you just be having gems in the closet, and then you like, you know what?
But the great thing about these is you keep them in good condition, they appreciate.
So do you have stocks? Do you do stocks like this? Is your Robinhood account like this where you just you got a great stock strategy?
For the longest, my faith was in Mickey Mouse with my stocks and my 401k. So
no, we all had that Mickey Mouse stock.
Yeah, no, Mickey Mouse. I'm saying I worked for Mickey Mouse for the longest. So my 401k and everything was kind of tied up in them. I was able to tell them whether or not I wanted to be aggressive or moderate.
Oh,
took care of it. But now, now that Robinhood account is building. It's building. It's because I still trust Mickey Mouse with my money. So
man, get you into that Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum.
I didn't pull it out. I still trust Mickey Mouse with the money. So
by the way, y'all get into that Irish Player Club NFTs.
Hey, congratulations on grabbing yours about a couple hours ago.
That's right. Get you on the NFTs in that crypto space. Web3 is going down. And so we got a lot of things coming, man. So come on. Shout out.
I can't wait to see the expansion of it, bro. When I saw you tweet that out, I was like, yo, that's fantastic.
Now the community's growing, and it's special access to a lot of things. We try to make the community worth its while and, hopefully raise these NFTs, build them to the top. And with that, we're going to have some subscriptions if you don't get a chance to get the NFTs. But man, there's a lot of cool things happening, especially for the season. Get you some cool season access to players in the game. Look, we got you right, man. We trying to turn this thing and make these players this money. First and foremost, make the players money. Generational thing and able to help players like understand their brands more, man. I think there's so much power in what they've allowed with the NIL. And with these NFTs, you get your own opportunity to build on your wealth and hopefully turn it generational. Shit, this blockchain stuff is serious.
JD says, shout out to you, bro, being part of the IPC Nation now. So fired up to have you part of it, LL Nation, the IPC Nation together.
We're going to grow that thing.
No doubt, no doubt. Tyler Dye, tapping in. Used to work for Mickey Mouse. Actually met Malik working at the Mishawaka Disney. Thanks for being cool, Malik. What, you had
That's
a
right.
football signing back in the day?
Man, I think I was just at the mall spending that per diem. You know, we got that little money with the Macy's and the little Disney store at the mall. And, you know, we used to pass through all the time. You know, that's back freshman year.
Yeah.
But you got your first little cash. You like, man, good grief. We college with a little money, man.
Cricketese 206. Shaun has had this exact same conversation with his wife before. It actually wasn't about, I feel bad about it. It wasn't about the sneakers. She understands the sneakers. I had to have this conversation because back in the day, you understand early 2000s, bro, you understand how big Mitchell and Ness jerseys were, especially in the culture. Huge. Yeah. And I had a huge collection, bro. Huge collection. to the point now, I've sold most of the collection. And it's crazy because they've recently come back in style in the culture. And you're starting to see them in videos again. But I started selling them off as my daughter got older. Because it was a way to like save money. Put money back into a savings for her. But literally, I would buy jerseys just to have them. Wouldn't wear them. Wouldn't wear them out. Because when you don't think when you buy it, you say, oh man, it's a cold jersey, I'm gonna rock that. But you really have to have a special place to rock.
Oh, so it's the special place and they confuse sometimes.
Yeah, it's like, dude, I'm not rocking. Let's say I had a white, because I had this jersey. I had both of the Shaquille O'Neal rookie jerseys, the white one and the royal blue one, Orlando Magic. But I'm not wearing that white one around a lot of people. Because if it gets dirty, I'm going to be ticked off. You understand what I'm saying? I can't wear it if I'm going out to like downtown with the missus because I'm dressing up. Going out on a date. No, I don't do jerseys.
A little different.
Yeah, I'm not that dude. I'm not doing like headbands and a jersey on a date. I'm not that dude.
No.
So it's like literally when you buy something like that, you're not understanding that you literally have to have a specific place to wear that to. Because I'm not wearing it to work. I come home from work, where are we going? I'm going to throw the jersey on to run and get some fast food. I mean, but you don't understand that. You're buying them because you like them. And you see.
So now it's turning into maybe weekend wear type.
Exactly. Now you're trying to figure out. Then you say, oh, maybe I could wear it to a barbecue, but a barbecue where? Like if it's a barbecue out in the forest preserve, you're not really rocking that. If you're going to the barbecue and you're going to hoop, you're not wearing it to that. Mm-mm. So then it just becomes like, man, honestly, you waste money. And literally, man, that might have been one of the biggest arguments of my marriage, bro. Jerseys.
Yeah.
And today, I have like 10 of the baseball jerseys because they're the hardest ones to resell. The baseball joints.
Really?
Basketball joints, they fly. Football,
it's the way the basketball ones fit.
Right.
Look.
But that baseball jersey is hard, man. It's hard. I'm trying to get rid of this Robin Yount Milwaukee Brewers. Man, I thought somebody from like 90 miles up the road would say, man, I'll take it off your hands.
No, straight up.
But it's a little more difficult than I thought. Lucky Lefty podcast, man. But no, ultimately, just getting back to the topic before we get to Marcus Freeman in the press conference. Marcus Freeman knows the task that he faces. He knows. And even though Notre Dame fans have different ideas on what's acceptable, some people are just saying, man, I just want to see a bowl win, or I just want to see a win in a big game, or I just want to see them beat Ohio State, or I just want one national championship. One national championship is equal to 5 Alabama national championships. Not my book. No. Give me 5. I'll take the 5. Give me the
5 is worth 5.
I'm greedy. I don't want to hear that one Notre Dame national championship is equal to 5 Bamas. No, I would rather take the dominant squad. I believe you can be dominant doing it the right way. Heck, Coach K sold that lie for the last 30 years. He was doing, allegedly, Duke has been doing it the right way, right?
Yeah, they've been recruiting good every year.
Very well respected educational institution.
Yeah.
Difficult to get into. Yes, not as many players, but they've been doing it the right way. Why can't Notre Dame dominate? Why can't Marcus Freeman be here for the next 10 years and get 2 natties? With like 5 trips to the college football playoff. I mean,
ooh, that's a career right there.
That's what I'm saying. Now, he might not stay.
Yeah, you doing all that. You might get that call. You might get that call.
If Brian,
Notre Dame's a hard place to leave too. Now, if you balling like that, it's hard to just leave the top of the world. Like, where else you gonna go?
I don't think he would leave to go to another school. But you better believe he wins 2 national championships at Notre Dame. The NFL is gonna call. Now, whether he picks up the phone and makes the move, that's on him.
NFL will call.
Yeah, they're gonna call. Heck, they called Brian Kelly and he didn't get one.
I thought they didn't call him, or they didn't want him.
Wait a minute. Oh, did Brian Kelly call them? Well, we don't know.
Can you call?
If you have an agent, you can call and say, "Yo, what's up with the job?"
Damn. Either way.
Lucky Lefty podcast. Great practice.
I see people talking about in the chat about we're not going to be a Bama or something, but it's like I don't think that you guys would be okay with that if we're not at least striving for it. Y'all wouldn't accept Marcus Freeman not getting to the playoffs every year. Mm-hmm. So it's like we have to be like that if we want to be where we should be in the future.
Yeah, I'm with that. You know what? That's very interesting, Irish One. Most people would not consider the job that Craig Counsell has done with the Milwaukee Brewers to be similar. But the Milwaukee Brewers, dude, we're talking about the Milwaukee Brewers, fam. Like, the Milwaukee Brewers have dominated the NL Central for the last 3 to 4 seasons. They haven't been able, and they're doing it without having the owner that can spend big money, go out and make big splashes in free agencies, great farm system, development, great pitching, great defense. It's a different sport, but they found a way to at least be consistent. And yes, Craig Counsell is a former Notre Dame baseball player. So with all of that being said, that's a great point, Irish One. That's a great point. Now, I hope that Notre Dame, under Marcus Freeman, takes the next step. Counsell hasn't gotten that World Series. But that's solid.
But that's the world of sports, though. It's like certain places like the Lakers. You just gotta – you can't be mediocre. You can't have a night off, unfortunately, just because of the brand almost.
Yeah.
So Notre Dame just can't not be in the conversation. Because you're just not gonna be there long.
Yeah.
We're like the good Cowboy fans. Like, you know, Cowboy fans are pretty crappy, but at least we win and we can get there, you know.
Oh,
the right kind of fan.
We're definitely going to get, because, you know, I don't know what the syndrome is, but Notre Dame fans suffer. I don't want to use certain words, you know what I'm saying? Because for certain people, that's a trigger, and I want to be respectful because I'm really trying to make a point. I don't want to be disrespectful and use a certain word or term that might send somebody off. But Notre Dame fans definitely suffer from a syndrome. We might have to create it, but it's like they need to relax. They need to relax because they do. Certain people that report about coaches being down in Miami for interviews put out stories, and the fan base goes crazy, just flat out crazy. Like, oh my God, the sky is falling. We're not going to get Dante Moore. And it's like, dude, relax. Like, relax. Just relax. And what's being done is that these kids, like you said, are understanding the power of building their brand through the recruiting process. Yes, this is not 20 years ago when kids just fell in love with a school and had nothing else to think about and just made a decision. Yes, they are putting business before your institution. So you might be mad, you might be upset, you might not like them taking visits, going to other places. A visit could be worth 500,000 followers on Instagram if you work it right.
I mean, these kids want all the fans to love them all over.
Absolutely.
And why not?
Absolutely. I talked to Carnell as soon as he got back from Tennessee. As soon as he got back. Right?
Probably like 2,000 followers or something like that.
Dude, he just posted something today, getting all Tennessee fans to come over to his Instagram. Like, these kids are smarter. They see the bigger side of the game. Even if they know right now where they're going to go to school, they're going to play out the process to get full return on the process. If they want to take it into the fall, so be it. But what I need Notre Dame fans to do is relax. It's not 10 years ago. And these kids are far more advanced at the totality of recruiting than previous recruits. They just are. They know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing.
That's right. They definitely do. And I think that it's just how the game's evolving. And it's turning more the amateur into the semi-pro. That's the same thing, right? Okay, so it's turning amateur into the pro, but at a younger age. And I think a lot of people should turn into the perception of how they view club soccer in Europe. Them kids don't even go to school. You know, they go straight to the club team, especially if they're nice, at like 10 years old. And they become a superstar at like 16, you know, and then the story goes from there. So fans over there don't care nothing about no school. And this kid should stay in school and saying Cristiano Ronaldo needs to go 3 years in college. It was, oh man, put him on the field. He's 11. I'm going to see him, you know, that kind of thing. So I think the perception will change. And I think that's just the perception that was put out there just to keep kids in school for the narrative of why they shouldn't pay players because they need to go to school for 3 or 4 years to mythically own it, earn it or something. But your body won't last forever. So take advantage. You can always go back to school. I think a lot of these schools, most of these schools are allowing you to go back to school anyway to finish your degree. But when they get out of school, they be out of school. So,
and it's like, dude, we talked about this before. You're Notre Dame, man. So if you're Notre Dame, you're not talking to the nerd in science class, dude. That's not the girl you're chasing. You're chasing the cheerleaders. And everybody, the competition for the cheerleaders is more fierce.
it's fierce.
And you're going to lose some. You might win a cheerleader, and she cheats on you. Hey.
That's how the game goes.
How the game goes. She's the cheerleader.
You're playing with the big dogs.
You don't stop going after the cheerleaders, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the quote of the week. Don't stop going after the cheerleaders.
Don't stop going after the cheerleaders, because that's what the previous coach did.
Yeah.
He just gave up.
I'll take the girl in my home economics class, my underwater basket weaving. I'll take the one
underwater basket weaving.
I'll take the one that really wasn't, ain't nobody asked her to the dance yet. I might as well go ahead. It'll be easy, I'll take the girl that really liked me, been leaving notes and candies and cookies all in my locker every day. I'll take that one.
Right.
We ain't chasing the one that keep walking past us. Every time we say, hey, she act like she ain't hear us. We ain't chasing that one.
No.
But that's the one we got to get.
That's the one we got to get.
That's the one we got to get.
That's the one you got to get.
You might have to stop in front of her and get hey, I'm over here.
Yeah. You got to stay there, because at some point, she will notice you. If you put in the work, at some point, she'll notice you. That's all.
At some point, you got to stand out.
You got to stand out. That's all. That's all we're trying to tell you, baby. And Marcus Freeman is not afraid to stand out.
Marcus Freeman went to the mall, got some new clothes.
No doubt.
He got his swag up.
No doubt.
He came back to school. She said, "Oh, yeah, that's the red leather jacket from the video."
Let's go. Ooh.
He said, "Yeah, I had to. You wasn't looking when I had the regular Levi jacket.
No.
I had to get the leather one.
I had to get the leather joint. I had to stand out. And that's your head coach.
And that's your head coach.
He understands how to meet the expectations of the program instead of settling. And I would much rather have someone trying to meet expectations and fail than to have someone that will just settle and give me excuses.
That's right.
That's all I'm saying.
Because the excuses it's like, really? That's all you got? That's the most you can get out of that, really? Man.
We might not even get, the show's been so good today, we might not even get to the press conference. Yo, Will Chesney, that's that lucky leather.
Yeah. And then, like you said, put a little bit of that cologne on.
Yeah.
Hang around a little bit.
Wait, how are you different? Yes, that's the task.
That's the task.
This is the first time this coaching staff in totality has been in this position at this level of recruiting, trying to do it at this level.
And we got a young staff.
A young staff. And if you keep
see all them Jalen Rose hairlines we had at coaching staff, them boys.
Yes, sir. If you keep this staff together for 2 years, in 2 years, they're going to be monsters on the recruiting trail. Monsters.
We're going to have the respect.
Monsters. You understand? But the wide receiver coach is a new guy. The recruits that had been recruited by Notre Dame, they have to get to know him. And in order to get to know him, guess what it takes? Time. It takes time. Relax. Because you're going after cheerleaders, man.
Yeah.
The cheerleader
they got attention.
The cheerleader is not about to decorate your locker and bring you a cookie cake on your birthday.
No, she might forget your birthday.
Might forget your birthday. That's not the cheerleader, man. That's not. If you want that, then go back to the way it was.
Yeah,
back to the way it was.
Yeah, we'll go back to taking the non-cheerleader.
Man, dude. Lucky Lefty podcast.
Just know you ain't winning prom king without that cheerleader.
Ooh, she is the key. She is the key to the voting. She is the key to the voting. So I want to get to this, and then we can get to the rest tomorrow from Marcus Freeman's press conference. Marcus Freeman was asked about what he wants to get done in the 2 weeks leading up to the spring game. And this is what he had to say.
Well, what we'll do is we'll evaluate, hey, what situational football do we need to really get on film? I know we don't have enough third down plays on film from practice. We need to focus on some more third down. But I'll get with the coordinators and we'll really sit down and say, okay, hey, what situations do you need on your side of the ball, offensively and defensively, into the game situations that we need to make sure we get on film so that we can teach and coach from it. We're gonna have to. I wasn't pleased with the way we kicked today. We missed a couple field goals, so I want to put those guys in a little bit more competitive situations. But I mean, other than that, we'll evaluate as a staff, and again, we'll end with the spring game.
And then he was asked about the process and practices and not happy with certain practices. And he made it known to his team, this is not a place where we accept average practices.
I'm a routine guy, right? And so I like to script them all out and just say, let's every day have the same routine. But then you have a practice like Tuesday. I wasn't happy with the way we practiced Tuesday. We got the work in, but we got through it. And so when you get through things, you say, okay, how can we change something up to make sure we get their attention? So Thursday was a little bit different. We started off with a competitive opener. We put O-line versus D-line one-on-ones, and then we did wideouts versus corners one-on-one, and then we had some coaches catching punts, and it's just we had to change it up. And sometimes to me it's you set your routine, but you got to be able to gauge, like, what does this team need? Tuesday wasn't great practice, so I'm going to go challenge them on Thursday, right? I'm going to get in front of the room. I'm going to challenge them and tell them we can't have an average practice. But also in my head, it's going to be like, okay, how can you slightly change things up so it's something new to them?
See that right there? That makes me feel good as a fan.
He don't want to lose that fire. Don't settle now. Don't take it. Because there'll be some days, that cold be kicking your butt walking to practice, and you got about 50,000 papers. Yeah. And ain't nobody cutting slack. And then practices, you be like, another one?
Yeah.
Oh, man. So for Marcus Freeman to go like, nah, we kicking your butt because you can't lose that fire in the spring. Yeah. He knows how important. Goes back to just knowing how important it is to start the right way. And I think he's got enough youth to continue to want to push guys. I think when you get a certain age, it's like, all right, we got time. We'll be all right. You ain't got the same coaching fire to get those guys to push in a strong direction.
Yeah. Like I said, man, the direction and the leadership, you have to be happy with it. And the expectations, it's cool. Like, I want Notre Dame fans to know it's cool to expect the national championship every year. Like, that's cool. Because you're not coming from a place of like Cubs fans for hundreds of years. Where it was like waiting till next year, and like your team is going to suck in the back of your head. You just had hope. Hey, 3 days ago, every team in Major League Baseball had hope, and then half the league watched their squad. The Baltimore Orioles fans watched their squad and was like, "Well, no need for us to. We can start planning for our summer vacation." Like immediately, man, and that's not the case with Notre Dame. It's just not the case. Direction is good. Recruiting is going very well. If you think the 23 class has promise, the 24 class has even more promise.
Yeah, we don't want to be stuck saying it's cool to say we want to win one, but it's cool to say it. We want to actually mean it, because Bama fans say it and mean it. They be like, all right, I'll see y'all next year. Let me just go ahead and book my ticket in advance, get a better seat.
And I understand now the vitriol I get from Bama fans for stepping out on a limb and saying Notre Dame is going to have the number one recruiting class in 23. The vitriol I get from Alabama fans, I understand it. because they've won so much.
They like, man, y'all did a good job.
They have patience when it comes to recruiting. They've been through it.
Yeah.
They know, like, dude, we'll get 4 or 5 stars in the last week. And
like the day before signing had 3 flip.
So they're patient.
Because
like,
they got FedEx and them duffels get there fast.
Duffels get there quicker. Absolutely.
They just jump into that vault real quick. They say, oh, you're not. Oh, let me go ahead and make your mind change real quick. Let me go ahead. Drop 140 in your backyard.
Yeah. And something interesting he said at the beginning of his press conference on Saturday. I didn't cut it up, but it was very interesting. He said, somebody asked him about it was his opening statement. He said, both sides have been great. They've competed. Both sides have won certain parts of practice. But hey, we need to be good together on September 3rd. He was like, all this back and forth, offense is good right now. No. He said September 3rd, all of us have to be good together.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
So the plan is not lost. The expectations are not lost on Marcus Freeman. We just wanted to see what LL Nation, where they were sitting at.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in sports, parity doesn't exist, man. There's no parity. Somebody's dominating, and then other people are just trying to get in where they fit in.
Yeah.
That's all.
Other people just trying to keep their job.
That's facts. Lucky Lefty podcast, man. We appreciate everybody that chimed in today. Listened in. Don't forget, you can follow us at SD2 Mics. Follow us at Overtime Malik and Malik Zaire on Instagram and Twitter. You know what time it is.
Petticoat. Petticoat Junction.
It's time to get petty.
Oh, we did a good job executing.
Are you upset with something?
And fire up the Petticoat Junction train.
I just don't like you.
You don't?
No.
What is today's petty historic Petty Junction?
Petticoat Junction.
Yep. Petty Junction. Each and every day. Pettiest stories of the day. Now, I had my petty train all set up, and then about 1 o'clock Pacific time, you know how somebody runs up as you're getting ready to close the doors to the train? And you're like, oh, man, let me let you on. That's what LeBron James did today. I had my petty train full, and here comes LeBron James running down the hallway. Hey, hold up. Wait a minute. Because we gave Russell Westbrook hell for not taking what it meant to be a Laker seriously. LeBron James was asked specifically, do you view this season as a failure? And this dude had the audacity to say no. Yeah. Put that dude on a petty train.
What do you mean?
Los Angeles Laker, 18 games under 500, and you did not make the playoffs. Forget lost in the playoffs. You didn't even make the playoffs. And you trying to sell to the fan base? You trying to sell to the Los Angeles Laker fan? Dude, that's like Brian Kelly in 2016 coming to the podium after the season saying, you know what? This season hasn't been a failure. Come on, fam. Nah, because I already know you want to defend him, but you got to stop. That dude, you cannot rip Russ for what he said and then let LeBron James off the hook for that. You cannot.
LeBron James.
If the Lakers brand means that much and everybody ripped Russ for what he said about going home to his family and he doesn't think about losses, then you have to, it's only right that LeBron James gets ripped as well. I just want the same energy from the same people that ripped Russ. That's all I want. Put him on.
Was Russ averaging 30?
Don't matter. Don't matter. Don't matter.
What do you?
Don't matter.
What else is he supposed to do?
Was it a successful season?
For him, yes.
No. That was not the question whether or not it was a successful season for him. Did the Los Angeles Lakers have a successful season?
Yes.
Man, you are lying to yourself. You are lying to yourself. And you need to stop it. You need to stop it.
Am I speaking as if I'm LeBron? Am I speaking as if I'm LeBron?
Brother, I don't
Am
care.
I speaking as if I'm LeBron though?
I don't care how you speak, who you speak for, who you speak at. Bro, you know darn well. You know darn well the Los Angeles Lakers did not have. You don't fire your head coach after a successful season, fam.
Wait a minute. He wanted to be moved on to another place. LeBron has to do some rearranging. So that's why it was a successful season.
Okay.
Because he almost got the scoring title in year 19.
Yeah.
Like that's success, right? That's nobody's doing that.
Yeah.
So on that end point, yes. He can't do nothing about getting hurt because he knows if he didn't get hurt, he would have got the scoring title, MVP, would have been playoffs, probably number one. I mean, come on. And he shot a movie in the same year and he won a Razzie?
Did you just bring up a Razzie, dude, on this show? Is that what you just did? Did you just bring up a Razzie on this show? A Razzie. Really?
Man, who else putting out a movie and winning one of them in the same season?
Man, you keep trying. You just keep trying. I'm ready to move on to the next person going on the petty train, and you just keep trying, man.
Year 19, man. That's all I got for you. Just underappreciated.
By who?
When he's gone, let's see how good the Lakers look. Let's just say that.
They said that after Kobe left. They said that after Magic and Kareem left. What's your point? That doesn't make him special. You lose any legendary player, the organization is going to take a dip. What are you saying?
LeBron.
What are you really saying?
Anywhere he goes, you know what's coming behind him? Championships.
No.
So if you can't appreciate
championships with one team, plural. He brought a championship to Cleveland.
Everywhere he goes.
And a championship to the Lakers. He only won multiple championships in one stop. So championships don't come to every stop he goes to.
I've never heard of more of a move the goalpost statement in my life. Championships.
The wind
oh
blows.
My God.
Bro. It's the Midwest. The wind blows like that sometimes. Now this dude is begging to go play with Steph Curry.
Wait a minute. I know you just did not move the goalposts.
I didn't
on this man's career like that. Talk about championship is not good.
No. What you said, I use your words. You said everywhere he goes, championships follow. Did you not say that?
Okay, but is he done yet? Okay. He's going back to Cleveland.
No, he only has multiple championships at one stop.
I forgot.
So that's not a factual statement.
Mr. Semantic Man.
That's not a factual statement.
Okay.
Now, if you say a championship is going to follow, then your statement would have been factual. Unfortunately, that's not what you said.
Oh man, we love to hate. That's why it flows. That's why he's still playing. You know what I mean? It's people like Shaun from Chicago, SD2 Mics from Chicago, fueling that Bron fire. Every time he's just throwing the wood in there.
I'm showing love. Did you see the clip? Perfect segue. Is this hating? Did you see the clip with Rick Ross on the newest episode of The Shop? Where he was talking about when he was in Hawaii working on My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy with Kanye. And he said he heard the beat and wrote 2 verses. After an hour, Kanye, after hearing the verses, came back and was like, nah, that ain't it. I know you can go harder than that. Ross said that was the first time in his career somebody told him, like, no, your verse ain't good enough. Are you comfortable in that space? Like, as a creative, would you be comfortable in that space? Or should Kanye go on the petty train? Now, the verse that ended up on the song, looking at I bet you at the stone. Yeah. He killed it. Like, Ross killed it. It's a legendary verse. We understand. But when you deal at that point, Ross was a dude.
He was a dude.
He was a dude. So
I mean, he got classics, man. I love Rick Ross.
Classic. So was Kanye petty for that? There's certain people that they felt like Kanye was petty for that. And some people feel like, yo, that's the greatness.
It's not petty because Kanye do it all the time. You know, he's so in his own world. It's like it wouldn't be out of the normal. You know, you probably tell the mailman he was doing his job wrong if he could.
Yeah. Yeah. Last but not least, I agree. Not like a fan, K-Mac, but that Winning Time show HBO is great. It's fantastic.
It's good. I gotta check it out.
Oh, dude, if you binge watch, bro, binge watch. It is, it's loosely based on actual events. They throw a little Hollywood in the last episode. Mike Epps was in it as Richard Pryor. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Last episode, Magic Johnson. This is something. Magic Johnson might have to put himself on the petty train. There's video of him actually talking about it today that went viral on Twitter. But he was the first one that Phil Knight approached about a signature Nike shoe in 1979. He was given the same offer as Michael Jordan, stock options, because Nike at that time was a legendless shoe company. He was offered stock options, minimal cash up front. Ultimately, he chose $100,000 from Converse. And of course, he and Larry Bird led the way for Converse. And we eventually got the Converse weapons with the great, commercials that they made together. Michael Jordan comes along, 84, 85, hits like a whirlwind in the NBA. Michael Jordan didn't even want to take the Nike deal. That's why I really don't go hard on that. David Falk, his agent, had to point out to him the benefits of taking the stock options. And if he created the brand, how much power he would have and how much leverage he would have. So credit goes to his agent that soon became super agent, David Falk, for showing Michael Jordan what he would be missing out on. Unfortunately, Magic Johnson didn't have the same type of consultation.
I mean, Magic Johnson got everything else.
He got everything else. But he said, in the video that's viral today, he said that's the one decision that he still regrets.
But I don't think he could have blew it up because the mystique from Jordan was way more than it was.
It hit different. It had a different cultural.
Jordan had like a more of an edge that, Magic had everything, so it would have blended into everything. Jordan was just like, yeah, okay, I like that, And he was just such a basketball player. Yeah. Magic was such an entrepreneur. Michael Jordan's a basketball player.
18 cents, I think, was the stock price at the time he approached Magic. Now it's like
a gajillionaire.
Man, trillionaire. Crazy. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it cost him in the billions. I know for sure. It's either 5.8 or $58 billion that he lost. I think it's 5.82.
That he lost, God damn.
He lost $5.82 billion not taking that deal.
Idiot. No.
That's why I said, man, I love Magic. I gotta put you on the petty train today, bro.
Oh, man.
It's not always good to take the cash, man. And that's what some of these youngsters, that's what some of these youngsters with the NIL have to understand. It's not always good to jump on the school that's telling you they're going to give you the most up front. Just go to school, put in the work, become a dude. You got plenty of time to make that money. Plenty of time to make that money. So thank you once again for joining us today. We'll be back tomorrow for another episode of the Lucky Lefty podcast. We'll get deeper into the press conference that Marcus Freeman had, specifically what he had to say about Al Golden and what certain recruits had to say about Al Golden this past weekend on their visits. We'll talk about it tomorrow on another episode of the Lucky Lefty podcast. Shaun Davis at SD2 Mics, Malik Zaire at Overtime Malik. As always, spend it different today.